Okay. So without taking much of the time, let me log in into this AWS Management Console. While I log in into this Management Console, let me tell you that a couple of things that we discussed yesterday also as well. AWS.amazon.com here. It says signing into the console.
సౌండ్ రావట్లేదే.
My audio is not visible.
No, it is good actually. Yeah.
Okay. So I told you, right? When you are logging as a root user, you'll be seeing this November bootcamp like this. But when you use a IAM user, you'll be able to see something like that IAM user at the rate of that account you'll be seeing basically. Those are the two differences we have seen. And yesterday I went ahead and then created this billing budgets. There are two types of budget. One is zero tier budget, and the second thing is monthly budget. Also, I have created. Like when I go to this one, and then when I click on this account, clicking on this account, this is the bills you can see here. So far, how much is something that has been consumed? You can see here with respect to the services that have been utilizing. Okay, earlier. Interesting. We can have the option of setting up these budgets as a monthly budget. We can set this alarm, as well as you can also have the option of setting up this free trade budget also you can mention basically. So those things also we have seen here. So you see here the charges by service and everything is going to show here. You can go to the budgets and then open these budgets also as well. And you can see like how much has been consumed. You can try to specify the budgets also as well, the monthly cost budget and other things also you can mention. Okay, these things also we have seen yesterday. Okay, and we have seen the users, we have seen the groups, we have seen the pages, as well as we have seen these policies also as well in a very detailed way. An IAM user and all those things we have seen. Okay, now this is the time to set up something. Okay, so as I have told you, when you are working in any cloud computing environment, okay, the first thing that catches our attention is the compute, because you need to have some processing power in order to execute your workloads. You need to have some processing power in order to execute your reports, or in order to execute your dashboards, okay, in order to execute your retail related activities. So that is what is called as compute power, what we call. Okay, so such a type of compute power in the case of AWS is basically treated as EC2. EC2, it is nothing but your elastic compute cloud. Elastic compute cloud. So that's why doesn't matter whether you work as a data engineer, data analyst, the DBA, or developer, or whatever it is, cloud engineer. Obviously, the first and fundamental thing what you need to do is, apart from this IAM, the next thing that you need to do is that you should be able to set up a compute engine, like a virtual machine, or else a server that you need to set up and spin in order to do your all the other activities. So that's the reason. So today's class, what we are going to do is that we are going to work on this EC2 basics. What is this EC2, Pravalika? EC2 stands for
Elastic Cloud Computing.
Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. This is the thing that we are going to use here. EC2. Okay, so we need to spin up this one. Like it is something like this. When you really don't have a laptop, you will not be able to work anything. Similarly, when you go to the office and when you don't have a laptop, literally you cannot do anything basically. Similarly, in cloud computing also as well, if you have not have any machine for you, if you don't have any machine for you to work on, obviously what happens is that literally you cannot perform anything. So that's why the basic thing that you need to have is a server that should exist. And this is not a physical server. Physical server means your physical laptop or your physical desktop is physical here, because you are only the person who is going to use that particular physical things here. But here what we do is that we call these things as virtual machines, because why it is called as virtual, I have told you, right? Because you are, suppose when you are having a real physical machine, suppose if you are having a real physical machine that is existing here, within this physical machine, you're going to set up, you're going to logically create some machines on that one. The first one, the second one, the third one, like that you're going to create. So here, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this one, what you see here, will be having this third one also. These are the three physical, if this is a physical machine, these are your three virtual machines. So what are these three virtual machines here? These three virtual machines can have the option of sharing your physical computer's resources. What are the resources? The compute power they're going to share, the storage they're going to share, the RAM they're going to share, and then the networking speed and everything they are going to share. That's why these treated as virtual machines. So these virtual machines. So these virtual machines, what you're having here in this EC2, or in the case of this cloud computing environment, they're basically treated as EC2 machines here. So what are the things that are being shared here? The things that are being shared here are, you can see here, they are compute. What are the things they are going to share here is, they're going to share these things, like they're going to share your CPU, they are sharing your memory, they'll be sharing your storage, and then the networking also they'll be sharing basically. And this physical machine, what you are having here, will be having a different operating system. Assuming that this physical machine is having something like Windows, these EC2 machines will be having something like Linux, Windows, or Mac, anything you can have here in this particular case. So these are all EC2 machines. So in this particular class, what we are going to do is that we are going to set up a plain vanilla virtual machine that will have the minimum characteristics of a free tier, and then we are going to spin it up so that you should be able to spin these particular things whenever it is really required. So this is what we are going to do here. Okay, so that's why you can see here, when you select this EC2 is the one of the most popular AWS offering. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, and that is treated as infrastructure as a service. I have told you, right? When in the case of the infrastructure as a service, what you have is, you'll be given the storage, networking, compute, and memory, but you need to bring your own operating system, own applications, and own data, and then you need to operate them. That's why such a type of thing is basically treated as infrastructure as a service. So it mainly consists of renting virtual machines. So Pari, are we having any physical machines here? We really don't have any physical machines, because we are going to rent these virtual machines here in this case. We are going to rent these virtual machines here. And we are going to store the data in these virtual machines. We are going to distribute the load, and it is not only one virtual machine you are going to create. you will be creating a group of virtual machines or a group of these EC2 instances, and all those group of virtual EC2 instances is basically called as a cluster, is basically treated as a cluster. So what is the last thing that you are seeing here, Sumana? Knowing EC2 is fundamental to understand how cloud works. If you really don't understand what is EC2, if you really don't understand how this EC2 is going to work, it is literally not possible to get into this cloud or data engineering or something of that sort. That's why we need to understand these things. Okay, so we'll come back to this theory at a certain point of time, but let us go ahead. I'm in my root user, but I prefer you not to be in the root user, and I want you to be in the IAM user only. So Sumana, Kavita, Pravalika, Pari, Manogna, and then Caliban, and all the people here, Ravi Garu and that Raviji. Is this Raviji from Virginia? I don't know. Okay. So what I'm saying here is, you know what is an IAM user and what privileges need to be given to the IAM user, the equivalent admin privileges to be given, and then you are expected and encouraged to log as an IAM user basically. Okay. So having said that, what we'll be doing is, I go to this services, go to this compute. When you go to this compute, this is what is your EC2. What they are saying here, there are these virtual servers within the cloud. Okay, before we go on to this one, I just want to make one comment and an announcement. From Monday onwards, those people who are in US will be having the sessions from 8:30 to 9:30 EST. 8:30 to 9:30 EST, because the daylight savings is going to be there. Change is going to happen. That's why we move 1 hour ahead, and we'll be having the class from 8:30 to 9:30 EST. Okay, and those people who are trying to attend from India, your time stays the same. So that means that your time will be from 7 to 8 as what you are having. Pari, I hope you need to take care of this particular timing also as well. I'll talk to you. Okay, so this is what is your EC2 virtual servers within the cloud. Let me open this one. Here, there is something called as then launch an instance is there. Launch an instance. That means that when you want to spin an instance, that is what is treated as launching an instance. So you launch an instance. I click on this one here. Okay, so here it will be asking you, see, Amazon EC2 allows you to create virtual machines or instances. So in short form, what we do is that we call them as EC2 instance. What we do? We call that one as EC2 instance that runs in the AWS cloud. So quickly getting started following the simple steps below. We are not really taking a complicated approach of creating your virtual servers. We'll try to be as simple as we can in order to create the simple plain vanilla EC2 machine. Okay, so here what we do is we come to this place and then try to give the name of the server. Name of the server, any name you can give. So I can give something like data engineer server. I'll try to give this one here. This is my tag. So basically what a server needs, basically, server needs an operating system, right? Without having the operating system, Pravalika, do you think that you will be able to set up a server? You cannot. Sham, you are having any question?
No. Basically, these kind of names, is there any unique names like for giving the names for the server?
No, any meaningful name you can give, because tomorrow once you create 100 servers, and when
Yeah.
you want to identify among them, what you do is that you are trying to use this tags. This tag is something like a key value pair. Key is nothing but the name, and the value is nothing but your data engineering server. Okay, so maybe in the next week I'll be showing you, we're having something like a tag collection is there. Within the tag collection, if you want to identify what are all the servers that have been created by you, so to easily track, you'll be creating these names basically here. You can give anything for that matter, Shyam.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, thanks.
So I'm trying to give this data engineering server here. And the next thing what I'm doing is I want to create an OS. Without the operating system, you cannot have a virtual machine that can be created. Okay, so here in the data engineering and data analytics, much of the operating systems that we generally create are going to be Linux based. Of course, we'll be creating the Windows based servers when we come to the databases applications, but initially we'll plan to create only the Linux based servers, and then they also come as a free tier. So that's the reason when you click on this particular quick start, you can see here there is something like Amazon Linux is there. See here, Amazon Linux 2023 AMI. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. This is the image that you are taking. This is selected like that. This is selected like that. Select here. But what we are supposed to select here, Chandrakal Garu, we are supposed to select only those operating systems which is free tier eligible. Kindly make a note of that one. Like when I go here, there are a lot of things which are free tier eligible only. Okay, you need to select only those things, not anything else. So that's why I'm trying to select this Amazon Linux 2023. This has been recently released. Amazon Linux 2023 EMI you can select, and then what you do is that, see, this is Amazon Linux 2023 EMI. And what is the architecture that we want to do? There will be something like 32-bit and 64-bit. We plan to select the 64-bit x86, we select here. Select this one. Okay. So what is the first thing? I have given the name of the server. I have selected the operating system image that is really required. And then what is that operating system image called? That is stated as AMI, stands for Amazon Machine Image. And this is called as Amazon Machine Image here. Amazon Machine Image, which is the 64-bit here. Okay. Now, so as I have told you here, what I really require something like OS. OS is something that we have selected. OS is selected, which is nothing but your Linux environment that you have selected. Then what I need to do? I need to select the CPU, the memory, and then the storage I need to select. Okay. So in such a case, what we do is that you go to this instance type. Here you have these instance families. And these instance families will contain the CPU power, the RAM, the storage, and then the networking that will be there basically. So when you try to open this one, you can see that there are a couple of things which are free tier eligible. Kindly understand, we are working only within the training and development environment. That's the reason we try to do only these free tiers. This is free tier, and this is also free tier here. There is one more free tier that you have seen here. This is your T2 micro, which is free tier. What it is, how much RAM it is containing? Tell me, guys.
1 GB.
1 GB RAM. 1 GB RAM it is containing, and it is containing only one vCPU. Virtual CPUs, it is containing only one CPU that is containing. Okay, if you plan to increase more, you will be charged more. So we'll select only this particular T2 micro here in this case. T2 micro, then this RTX is 64-bit. Then you have this Amazon Linux AMI, Amazon Machine Image, and then we have given this the name and the tag. These are the 4 things that has been given so far. Okay, and then here we need to understand this key pair login. For now, I'm not selecting any key pair login, but in the future, we'll be talking about what is this key pair login. For now, just keep a note of that one. Key pair login is something which we need to see. Now, network settings, I'm not changing anything. Network settings, I'm not changing anything. Okay, but what I'm doing is I am allowing this SSH topic, secured shell. That means that suppose I want to allow traffic to this particular, it is something like this, right? You are in this AWS cloud, guys. You are in this AWS cloud. And then within this AWS cloud, what you're doing here, you're trying to create a type of virtual machine you have created. What is this virtual machine here? This is EC2 that you have created. Where you want to operate this EC2 machine, you want to be outside your AWS, right? You want to be outside your AWS, and here you will be the user. You want to connect into this AWS cloud, and then you want to access this EC2. You want to access this EC2. That means that whenever you are trying to make a connection from this user to this particular EC2, what you are expected to do is that you are expected to make a secured connection and passing through this particular firewalls. Okay, so connecting from the user to this one is generally done with a type of thing that is what is called as a secured shell. SSH stands for secured shell. That means that I want to create this EC2 machine as a public machine so that anybody can access. That's the reason what I'm doing is that while I go into this place, I'm mentioning something like allow SSH traffic from anywhere. Anywhere is something is being specified with this one here. One more thing is that when you want to attach the website Tinja also as well, I can mention something like allow this HTTP traffic. And whatever the server that you are creating, if that particular server happens to be a web server, you can also have the option of allowing this HTTP traffic from this particular internet. So these are the 2 network settings what I have been doing here. That is allowing SSH traffic from anywhere, and then allow SSH traffic from the internet also as well. These are the 2 things that we did so far. Okay, so far, what are the things that we did? We selected this name and tag, and then we selected this Amazon machine image contains the operating system. Then what we selected is that we selected this 2023 AMI machine. Along with this, we selected something like family also as well. What is this particular family here? That is, it contains 1 virtual CPU, and then it contains this 1 gigabyte of memory, which is nothing but the RAM we have selected. Okay, but we have not selected any storage. So for this particular storage, what is one thing that I'm taking here? I'm taking this 8 GB of hard disk. 8 GB of hard disk that I'm selecting here, basically. That's it. 8 GB of hard disk, 1 GB of RAM, and 1 virtual CPU, and the operating system is nothing but your Linux. These are the things that I'm selecting, and then I am mentioning this. Firewall here. The security group is allowing this SSH traffic and trying to make this server as a web server here. That's only I'm mentioning, and then I'm ready to launch this. These are all the preliminary settings what I am making in order to launch a very simple EC2 instance. Any questions you're having here, please let me know before I proceed further.
So when do we use HTTPS? Like, because we are going with HTTP, no? So when to select that and this both?
When you're going to have an end-to-end encryption, that should happen, Ravi garu. When you need to have an end-to-end encryption, you know that SSL encryption will be there, secured layer encryption that you want to have between both the two things. Then in such a case, we go with this HTTPS. We'll be seeing those examples also as well.
Okay, so is a separate charge or like it's a free of like if we can select anyone or like they charge if you go?
ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే this is free only. This is free
Okay.
only. But the thing is that any traffic that is coming to AWS will be charged or will not be charged.
It will be charged.
No. Inside it won't be charged, sir.
Huh.
Inside it won't be charged, but any outgoing traffic or data from your AWS will be charged. Basically.
Okay.
So outbound traffic is charged and inbound traffic is not charged at all. Inbound traffic is not charged at all. Okay. So we specify this one and then we are going to launch this particular instance. Any questions, please let me know. Sumana, you are clear?
Yes, sir, following.
Yeah. So Venkatramana, Sai Ganesh, Ravi, all Ravis, Ravi Ji, Ravi Amirneni, and Ravi Garu, Pari, Chaitu, Chandrakala, and Kavitkar. Manogna. By next week, we should be able to know each other. Everyone. Okay. That's the reason this weekend everybody is trying to reach out to you. Your whoever have coming from VisualSoft and whoever have been coming from Visual Path, Harsha Trainings, they'll be contacting you to complete your registrations. And I also will be contacting you for the registrations, but to know each other is the main thing basically. So these are all the things that are really important here. For the purpose of making a strong impact on your EC2 connection here. I created this one, but one more thing I want to tell you here. When you go to this user details, there is something called as this user data that exists. Ante, when you're trying to spin an instance for the first time, there will be something called as booting that happens, right? Kavitkari, I hope you know what is booting, right? I just want to make sure I want to install a set of software, or else I want to install a set of operating system, or else I want to install some patches. When the system initially starts, that is what is called as booting. So such a type of data is basically treated as user data. So within this user data, I'm going to set up a particular code. Don't worry about this particular code, but we'll see how this ఎందుకంటే I'm trying to set up a website. The website will be having the first page. What is that page called? Can anybody tell me? Any website will be having the first page. That page is called as that index.html, right? Index.html. So I'm planning to create an index.html page, and then I'm trying to mention something called as hello world. I'm trying to mention here. The reason I'm using all these things is I'll tell you what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm creating a web server and installing that web server so that when you try to access this web server from the first page through website, it will be saying you this hello world. That's the reason I'm trying to place this code here. I'll be explaining that code later. Okay, I'm placing this particular code here, and these are all the configurations that we have made here. What are the configurations? The configurations are something like operating system. The second is the instance type, which is nothing but your instance family, which is T2 micro. Then you have this key pair login, which I have not used anything so far. I mentioned this allow SSH traffic along with allow HTTP traffic from the internet, and then configured some 8 gigabytes of storage. Then I went ahead and then started creating some user data here. What is this user data, Sumana? This user data is something like whenever your server is getting booted for the first time, I want to have a particular web server that need to be set up only once in that lifetime. That's the reason I'm mentioning these things here. Basically, I'll tell you this particular code at a later point. And what you are doing is that if you feel that everything is ready, this you can try to launch this one. So Manogna, here you can see here in your first year includes 740 hours of T2 micro. Is it not this T2 micro we have selected here? T2 micro only has been selected per month. అంటే ఒక సర్వర్ని మీరు 24x30 ఎంత అవుతుంది? 720 యా 720 అవర్స్ మీరు రన్ చేసినా ఒక సర్వర్ని మీరు 1 year పాటు కంప్లీట్ గా రన్ చేసినా కూడా you will not be charged provided if it is only T2 micro or T3 micro only. Okay, you mention this one and then you try to launch this instance.
Ravi garu, a small question.
Yeah, Chapandi.
Okay, this is the first instance that we are creating in the AWS, right?
Okay.
So we have chosen like backend is a Linux server and we are deploying some applications into the server.
Yeah.
So in a real time, if we take like there is already an there is a server is there. Okay. If they want to deploy that server into the AWS, in the AWS, that is the requirement. So
అంటే సర్వర్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది మీకు? ఆన్ ప్రెమిస్ మీద ఉందా?
on premise లో ఉంది.
Okay.
So how can we deploy this on that particular server into the AWS? So in that case, how can we can directly choose the existing server of which is suppose that server is on the Linux or on some Solaris. Okay, so a Solaris version ఇక్కడ మనకు దొరుకుతుంది.
యా, అన్ని దొరుకుతాయండి ఇక్కడ. AWS అన్ని దొరుకుతాయి.
ఓకే,
ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఈ ఆల్ జనరేషన్స్కి వెళ్ళారనుకోండి.
ఓకే,
these are all the things that exist here basically, and this is the instance type. Sorry, when you talk about the operating systems, right?
yeah,
There are hundreds and hundreds of AMIs that are available.
okay,
You try to understand. There are hundreds and hundreds of AMIs that are available here. If you are not able to find those AMIs, you can go to your community AMIs. అర్థమవుతుందా? ఆ
okay,
కమ్యూనిటీ AMIs లో ఎవరో ఒకళ్ళు అమ్ముతారు మీకు.
Mhm.
Okay, or else you can bring your machine image and then you can launch your third-party image also as well here. Basically, you can still do that.
Okay.
You're getting what I'm saying here?
Yeah, got it.
This way you can do. Kabatti, first thing is that you need to match apples to apples. If that apple is not there, you need to match that nearest apple. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you need to get that correct configuration and then set up that bare machine అనేది మీరు fulfill చేసిన తర్వాత then you can have this application lift and shift is there. Lift and shift అంటే you can lift your applications from your server on premise and then you can bring them and then you can transfer them here also as well. That is also possible.
Okay. In that case, the related packages and the patches related to the operating systems will be installed in that particular server.
Yes, we have to install that one. Another thing is that Docker containers అని అన్నారు మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా? కంటైనర్స్.
విన్నాను.
సో వాటిని కూడా మనం దీంట్లో పెట్టుకోవచ్చు మొత్తం ఆల్ టుగెదర్.
So Ravi garu, like lift and shift means like the exact code we are going to put it here, like from
Exactly. Yeah, exact code and exact data we are going to put it here.
Okay.
The data dumping is like directly loading the server. How can we do that?
Data dumping happens with the help of your there are some migration tools that exist, and using those DBT migration tools and all, you need to bring the data and then you can put it here basically. Yeah.
What about the data that we have in the instance itself, in the on-premise server?
Instance లో డేటా ఉందంటే అది ఏ ఫామ్ లో ఉంటుంది? It might be in the form of a DBF file, right? DBF file.
Exactly.
Or it might be in the form of your CSV files also as well, right? CSV files are something of that sort. Okay. So here we are going to create something called as a storage. You know, storage. That storage happens to be an S3 storage or S3 bucket we create. Okay. Those S3 buckets will be the place where we initially dump the data. That happens to be the data lake. Okay. Once we get the data, here we use all the different traits and techniques in order to put the data into the appropriate place, basically. Is that clear to you?
Yeah, so we have to manually do it, like, scripting the code or something
Yes,
like that,
exactly.
right?
Yes, sir. We have to manually do that one. Exactly.
Okay.
So where are we here? We go back to this place. The instance on the left. So long, sorry. Yeah, that's gone or what? Okay, so let me complete this step only. Okay, let me launch this instance once again. What I did here, I mentioned something like AWS data engineer server. Okay, this is your Amazon Linux that we have selected. Then 23 AMI, and this is 64-bit. This is T2 micro. I'm not selecting any key pair login. Then I selected this one also as well. Then I selected the configuration storage. The secondary storage happens to be your 8 gigabytes. And then when you go to the advanced details, I mentioned some code. What is that code here, Manavna? That code happens to be your user data that we mentioned here. I'll give you that code also as well.
Ravi, quick question. So we are not giving the key pair. So how we are going to SSH into this? So
Sir, we are going to work on these key pairs in the later classes.
later classes. Okay.
I just want to give the people the comfortable feeling of spinning up a simple virtual server.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
In the next class, we are going to see those key pair options also as well. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to launch this instance here.
Proceed without the key pair, the first option.
Let me try to use my original key pair, what I have created, and then let me do one
No,
thing.
there is an option for proceed without key pair. Yeah.
Nice to see. So it is launching this instance, and then your instance gets launched, successfully launched. How do you know that the instance has been successfully launched? Great. So when you click on this view instances, you'll be able to see the instance that is getting launched here. AWS Data Engineering is the server that we are launching. Make sure that once you launch, okay, please make sure that it is always in the stopped mode or in the terminated mode. It is running here. Okay, so first thing, I'll tell you the list of all the states that you can have here. When you select this one, when you go to this instance state, we have these things. Stop state is there, hibernate is there. Hibernate I will talk later. Stop state is there, reboot stage is there, along with this terminate instance is there. Terminate stage means we no longer need this particular instance, but what we are doing is that we no longer need this instance and we are releasing this instance to somebody else, to AWS. This is what is terminating, which is a permanent removal. Stop means we are stopping it today with the expectation that we'll start it tomorrow. That is what is start, stop, and reboot. Just like the way you reboot your instance, we can also have the option of rebooting this particular instance. Okay, before going further, your instance is running, congratulations. But the thing is, you need to understand two things here. It is saying something like a public IP address. But you are seeing, right? This is public IP address, and then you're having something like private IP address that exists. When you come here, if this user he wants to access this EC2, he is supposed to use a type of address called as public IP. Public IP he need to use. Okay. Now, within AWS itself, you'll be setting up one more EC2 instance. Okay. Assuming that you are setting up one more EC2 instance that you are setting up. Okay. Now, between these two instances, when you want to communicate, you can also have the option of communicating within the same AWS also as well. So when two different EC2 instances communicate within AWS, they'll try to communicate with private IP addresses. Ravi Kumar Gaur, I hope this is clear, right? Outside AWS, you will be using this public IP, and then inside AWS, you'll be using this private IP addresses. So that's why these are the two things that are really important here: public IP and then this particular private IP that is important. Okay. Now, one thing what I'm doing is that I told you, right? I want to access it from HTTP also as well, right? I want to access this web server or this my server from this public website. So when you want to access this one from the public website, you'll be having something called as the public IPv4 address is there here. Select this one. నేను దీంట్లో ఇందాక ఏం ఇన్స్టాల్ చేశాను? I have installed this particular website I have created, right? HTTPD and HTTP I have installed here. That means that it is installed a web server, and for that web server I have installed that web page also as well. Okay. Now when you try to place this address here, when you try to place this particular address here, and then when you try to select this one, at some point of time, are you getting this one or not? Manogna, are you getting this one or not? Hello,
Yeah.
world. Yeah, hello world from this host name. What is this host name? This host name, what you are seeing here is 172.31.38.162. What is this one here? This one is this private IP address. You see here. అంటే మీరు outside AWS, if you are trying to access this public IP address with the help of this 5223, right? 5223, 174 and 1166, when we have installed, what it is doing here, it is telling you the welcome message from your private IP address. Is that clear to you? Now, I'll tell you one more thing here. I copy this one. Please make sure that the last thing what you're having is 166. Okay. I'll copy this one here. Assuming that this happens to be your 166 here. This is public, right? Public. And here, this one, what you are having here is something like a private IP address. Copy this one and then keep this one here. This is private. Okay. Let us save this one for an example here. So I'm able to access from the HTTP. This is your HTTP because not secure. Secure it is HTTPS. This is HTTP, and then I'm able to access this one here. Now what I do is I go to this place. I select this one, go to the instance. I'm trying to stop this instance. Stopping this instance. Let this instance stop and then start once again. Stop this instance. Let me stop here 1 minute. Okay, it is stopped here. Once it is stopped, you select this one, and then once again what you do is that you start this instance. So what I'm doing here, I already stopped and then I started here, which is successfully started. It is showing it is successfully started. The moment once you refresh, it shows us this is successfully started here. Running, right? Okay. Now what you do is you select this one here. Private IP address ఏముంది ఇక్కడ?
162.
Are you seeing the same 162 here?
Yeah.
Ante, even though when you start and stop the instances, the private IP address does not change. But what about public? Kaviti garu మీరు చూస్తున్నారు కదా? When you see this public is changing here, right? So here what happens is when the instance is stopped and then started, the instance will retain the same private IP address and the public IP address changes again and again. Okay, what happens? What should we do if we don't want to change this public IP address when the instance is stopped and started once again? In such a case, we need to attach one type of IP address. Anybody knows what is that IP address? That IP address is called elastic IP address. Elastic IP address. I'll tell you the real-time scenarios. When should we use these elastic IP addresses going forward? But just keep a note. Today, two things I have not covered is what is elastic IP address and what is those key pairs. These are the two things that I have not covered, but I'll be covering them. Okay, so these are the things that we have selected here, and then we have got into this one. Okay, now I want to connect to this instance. So as I have told you, I didn't create any key value pair, something of the sort to connect to the instance, but AWS provides a very great way of connecting to that EC2 instance. When you click on this connect, it will tell you something like connect using EC2 instance connect. Connect using instance EC2 connect, and we click on this particular connect, automatically what happens is in the browser itself, you can have the option of connecting to that EC2 instance, and then you can initializing the session, and this is the place. The Linux server is something that you'll be able to access easily. This is what is your EC2. So here you can come and then tell me, who am I? You don't say that I am Ravi Kumar, but it says that it is you are an EC2 user. EC2 user. So where are you in? You are in this particular present working directory /home/EC2-_user. And then what is your list of files that you are having here? Literally, there are no list of files that are present in this one. This is the way you can have the option of connecting to your server. ఇప్పుడు Windows server అయితే మీరు ఏ విధంగా కనెక్ట్ అవుతారని చెప్పండి. Like you go to this remote desktop, and then you try to open this one, and where is it one? Yeah, this is your remote desktop, right? Here you give the computer name and then the password and everything you connect basically, right? Similarly, here what we are doing is that you are similarly connecting to your virtual machine with this instance connect, what you are doing here basically. This is the way you can have the option of connecting to your instance connect here basically. Okay, that is the way you need to do. So I'll stop here today.
And even with our telnet we can connect, right? If we give the IP address.
SSH, we do that one with the SSH, as well as we can have, with the help of telnet also we can connect basically. I'll do that one because there we need to create that PEM file and PPK file. Those things we'll talk in the next week, sir. basically.
Okay, but for this is for only HTTP we can use with the connect, like HTTPS means we have to go that one, or we can even connect with connect using connect for HTTPS also.
కాదు ఇది దేని గురించి అంటే దిస్ ఈజ్ I told you, right? Allow SSH from the other user, from external, I told you, right? For that one, this is something that we are going to use this instance connect.
Okay.
HTTP అనేది HTTPS అనేది ఎందుకు గురించి అంటే అక్కడ మనం వెబ్ సర్వర్ ని మనం ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేసాం. అక్కడ ఆ వెబ్ సర్వర్ ని మనం వెబ్ బ్రౌజర్ ద్వారా యాక్సెస్ చేయడం కోసం దట్ HTTP and HTTPD will be used basically for that particular purpose.
Okay. Even if we have a key pair here, can we connect using this? So like, because I never use this connect earlier.
దీనికి ఇక్కడ కీ పేర్ అవసరం లేదు సార్. ఇక్కడ దీనికి
okay.
దీనికి కీ పేర్ అవసరం లేదు. కీ పేర్ ఎప్పుడు అవసరం అవుతుందంటే when you have your what is that one? CLI, PowerShell. When you use your PowerShell, when you use your Amazon AWS CLI, or else when you have this particular telnet that we use, right? That is called as
Patti.
Partigen and Patti we use, right?
Mm-hmm.
For that particular purpose, we bring those particular things. Otherwise, if you want to simply do it in a plain vanilla way, we can try to use this instance connect also as well, basically. Okay. Yeah. So we'll be doing these things basically just to make sure whatever we want to do here, that is we do this EC2 instance. We did that connect. We launched this one, and then we have seen that public and private IP addresses, and we have seen the way of connecting to this Amazon. See, this is one thing which has been recently launched, this Eagle thing, and this is recently launched here. So we can connect to these things the way I have told you. So in this week,
so this connect is recently launched. This connect
connect recently launched. This Amazon Linux 2023.
Okay. Image.
Yeah, image has been recently launched. Okay.
Ravi, can we shut down and start up the services for that particular instance from the backend from this particular?
ఏదైనా చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా, సో వీఆర్ ఇన్ కేస్ ఓకే మనం షట్ డౌన్ చేసేసి స్టార్ట్అప్ చేస్తున్నాము. సో సిమిలర్లీ కెన్ వి డూ ద సేమ్ థింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ వెన్ వీఆర్ కనెక్టింగ్ టు ద సర్వర్?
Of course, yeah. I told you, right? Yesterday there is something like AWS CLI command line.
Okay, CLI we can go for connecting the Windows operating in that command prompt.
Yes,
but
exactly.
this is the Amazon Linux server, right? So
yeah.
we are installing our application in this application related data will be in this particular server, right?
Yes, sir.
So how can we are we connecting to any is this first question is this related to any particular database, or are we installing a database? It's a plain
workstation. It's a plain workstation basically.
Okay, so it doesn't have any file systems and all?
It doesn't have anything basically. Unless you use something, it doesn't take anything basically.
So then how the application, where the application is deployed then?
Adi మనం will be creating them, and there is something like RDS service. Yeah, let me tell you here. When you go to this one, you have something like databases is there, right?
RDS.
Yeah, when you go to this database, there is something like RDS is there right here. This is the place where we'll be creating these database servers.
Okay.
And from this Linux server, we'll be connecting to this RDS, basically.
Okay.
So this itself is a plain system, which is a dabba.
Okay, dummy. Yeah.
With operating system.
With operating system. మనకి ఏదో ఒక ల్యాండింగ్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ కావాలి కాబట్టి this is the landing platform that we plan to use అన్నమాట basically.
So all the Linux commands can work on this?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
In case, okay, if you go to the application side, so we are shutting down and starting the application, okay, instance. So in case the instance is not coming up,
if you want to install any application, you can come here and then type the commands and then you can install this one. కానీ మీరు మెమరీ ఏం పెట్టారు, 1 GB and 8 GB పెట్టారు, గుర్తుందా? అది సరిపోదు. అప్పుడు దాన్ని పెంచండి మీరు. You increase the memory power also as well, and then you dump as many applications as you want. You can do that one for sure.
Okay.
This is an infrastructure as a service, and ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ యాజ్ సర్వీస్ అంటే వాడు తెచ్చి మీకు ఈ CPU మెమరీ అన్ని మీకు ఇస్తాడు. దీన్ని బట్టి మీరు సారీ ఐఎమ్ రన్నింగ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ టైం, ఐ నీడ్ టు లాగిన్ ఇన్ టు అనదర్ సెషన్. బట్ నేను అనేది ఏంటంటే శ్యామ్ గారు, దిస్ ఈస్ ద బేసిక్ ప్లేన్ వెనిలా డబ్బా దట్ హ్యాస్ బిన్ గివెన్. విత్ ఇన్ దిస్ వన్ యూ హ్యావ్ బిన్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ ద స్టోరేజ్, CPU, network and something. But you can log in and then create your as many applications as you want here and basically. Sarina?
Okay. Just one more question. On the front end side, when you have shut down and start up the instance. So in case it is not coming up properly, how can we identify the error?
జనరల్ గా రాకుండా ఉండటం అనేది ఉండదు, ఎందుకంటే we need to contact the support basically. This is the స్టార్ట్ చేసింది, షట్ డౌన్ చేసింది, దిస్ ఇస్ నాట్ అవర్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ. అండ్ ఫస్ట్ డే మీరు వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను చెప్పాను, మీకు గుర్తుందా? లైక్ రవి గారు, దాంట్లో ప్లీజ్ గివ్ us 5-10 minutes టైం అని చెప్పండి దాంట్లో, ఇఫ్ డోంట్ మైండ్.
ఓకే అండి.
సో వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ ఈజ్, sorry, what is the question?
Okay, setting and on starting up applications. In case if it is not doesn't come up properly,
yeah.
how can we identify?
I told you, right? There is something called as the customer responsibility, and there is something like your AWS responsibility. Okay, AWS responsibility is something like it should bounce back the services back. Adi ganiki ipote, you put a ticket to them saying like this server is not up and running. Please look into that one. They'll look into and then they'll resolve the problem. Okay. They look into that's all the problem. Me applications wall like problem అయితే that is your issue అన్నమాట basically. They will identify and then tell you this is what you have done, so don't do that one once again, and then వాళ్ళు హెల్ప్ చేస్తారు మీకు. అందు గురించే ఇక్కడ మనకి సపోర్ట్ ఉంటుంది, మనకి కాంటాక్ట్ సపోర్ట్ ఉంటుంది. వాట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ సపోర్ట్ యూ నీడ్, వెదర్ యూ నీడ్ ఎ ప్రొఫెషనల్ సపోర్ట్ ఆర్ ఎ పర్సనల్ సపోర్ట్ ఆర్ ఎ బిజినెస్ సపోర్ట్. సో మీ సివియారిటీ ఆఫ్ ద కేసుని బట్టి the billing will be there అన్నమాట basically. అలా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట.
సో మానిటరింగ్ టూల్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా సార్?
Of course, CloudWatch services will be there in order to monitor the things also as well.
So it will be logged, right? If something,
yeah, it will be logged. If something is going wrong, it will be logged.
But for that the service has to run, right? It's up and running.
అది అప్ అండ్ రన్నింగ్ అయితేనే అది రికార్డ్ చేస్తుంది. అది అసలు టోటల్ గా డౌన్ అయిందంటే కనుక the only option that we have is go and contact the support.
Okay. That.
Shyam, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm clear. If you are free, so that I can raise a question.
Clear.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'll get in the next class.
Yeah, we'll meet in the next class. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, we'll be meeting on Monday US guys, and for Indian people it is going to be Tuesday. Thank you so much for all the support that you have given so far.